my plan today was, so I'm a big fan of ghost stories. Really big fan. I like listening to them. There's a lot of podcasts I like listening to. One is Uncanny, where they tell a ghost story that someone's said or like experience, and they have two people, a professional person who is like a denier in paranormal activity and just basically tries to prove it wrong, and then someone who really believes in it, say this could be this type of spirit or this type of spirit. And I thought, why don't we have a little conversation about if we've had some weird ghost stories? Apparently Luke has a killer ghost story that he's even had to use Google for. I'm not sure why he's
also set some expectations by saying you may not like it.
Yeah.
I'm just covering all bases, you know.
So, Luke, why don't you tell us your story first? What we'll do, we'll let you say the story, and then we'll just have a quick talk
He's just
about
looking it up on
Reddit. He's just quickly getting rid of his Reddit search of...
that totally happened.
Alright then, lads. So strap in. It was on a cold and dark January. Okay, I'm going to prefix this with what everybody says when they're telling the ghost story, and that is, I don't really believe in ghosts. I am hugely skeptical. I would be that professional. I'd be trying to apply logic to everything to understand what might have happened. But this one, I can't really explain. So, have you guys ever heard of the ancient ramen?
Isn't that noodles?
Is that what?
Noodles.
No, that's ramen. I don't know about ancient ramen, but I've given your mother a good ramen.
Right, so this ancient ramen is, as you might have guessed, an inn that used to house the workers for the local church. Ram Inn, yes.
Right, yes.
And it's considered to be one of the most haunted places in the UK. As I've said, I'm not a believer in all this, completely skeptical. My mother, however, absolutely believes in this stuff and loves it. She watches all the ghost things. So for Christmas, or her birthday, because it's in the same month, one of them, I booked tickets to take her to the ancient ramen. It was like an overnight, not an overnight stay, but you'd stay there until 3 o'clock in the morning, go around the house, investigate. You could use an EMF, you could use all these different things. And to start off the event, we all had to stand in a circle with other people, and we had to hold hands to muster up energy. And it would be in the dark.
Like seance.
Yeah. And it wasn't pitch black because you could see a bit of light from the next room because we were in this barn. So we were holding hands and we were just staying there for about 10 minutes. And after a while, it looks like I could see a tall man. He was like about 7 foot. He was a just black shadow figure. And I was just thinking to myself, that... Are we really getting triggered by the word black? Is this where we're at in 2025?
No, a tall man.
There was a big black man in
there. Big black man. Yeah. So Shaq O'Deal was standing in front of me.
Mark, this pub is haunted by Mark Henry. Sorry, carry on.
So yeah, this is where it looks like you're standing in front of me, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm losing perception of the room. Looks like there's this tall figure in front of me. So anyway, when that seance comes to an end, I hear another person say to one of the event leaders, "Oh, it looked like there was somebody standing in front of me." And I was like, all right, that's pretty weird. Continued on with the night. Nothing really happened. I spoke to my mother about it then a couple of weeks later, and I said, and we were saying like, how I don't believe in stuff forever. And I said, I tell you what was quite weird. It looked like there was a tall shadow figure standing in front of me. And she nearly leapt out of her chair and said, I saw the exact same thing. I didn't want to say anything because people would think I'm crazy because I'm the one that believes in the stuff. So that's 3 of us that might have saw something and we didn't talk to each other about it. So I became curious about this. So I looked up the history of the ancient ramen. And in the Mayflower barn, which is where we were, it says, the barn dating back to the 18th century is haunted by a 7-foot-tall dark spectre that acts aggressively towards men but favours a certain type of female. This ominous figure materialises in the barn's doorway, seemingly guarding or protecting something within.
That's mad, though.
I can't explain that.
That's mad, though. Anyway,
no, generally, that's fucking insane.
Because I had absolutely no prior knowledge to the building and the history, whatever. I just took my mother on this ghost thing and started to laugh, but that's weird. I can't explain that.
That's mad, that is.
So, with that, though, if you had to rationalise it, like, where was the figure?
I'd say it was about 4 foot in front of me, 3-4 foot. And it just
What,
looked really
it just
tall and like
appeared,
quite
or,
blocky.
like-
No, just like over time, like I was sort of just looking ahead, and then it just looked like something appeared. And that's what I thought. I just thought I've kind of lost my perception of the room. Perhaps it's because
Was it
we're in a
pitch black,
circle,
you
there's
said, yeah?
people in front of me. Perhaps it's gone all. Yeah, it was dark enough. Yeah. And I thought, perhaps it was the event hosts playing a trick where they like stand on one another, but they had that
Yeah.
you know, that waterproof jacket, and it's like loud
Yeah,
when you move.
the
They had that
bag.
on, so you would hear that if they were, you know,
Yeah.
doing something. But yeah, that is my official ghost story. I've had like little things as well where, not long after my grandfather died, I heard something on the landing as if somebody walked across, and you know when you just have that feeling that somebody's there or somebody's watching, and I had that, and I was like, I do not want to look. But I'm putting that down to the fact that I just lost my grandfather, and you know your brain goes all,
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, I don't have a way of like, because if it's in like in the middle circle of your wall, there. I mean, yes, someone could like sort of squeeze through and sort of like, you know, just stood there. But if you're staring and it's pitch black, I mean, even in the dark, your eyes will adjust a little. You know,
Yeah,
you'll
exactly.
be able to see like outlines and stuff. But if it just started to materialize, I haven't got a sausage, boss.
No.
It's really weird.
Like, that's weird though, but like the thing is, like you said, if it was someone in that room, first of all, you would have, if he was already pre-standing in the middle of you, you would have fucking known when you were all being gay
Yeah,
and holding
exactly.
hands. But
Yeah.
no, that's weird because you would have seen him there.
Yeah.
You know, pre doing that, and second of all, if someone was like coming in to like stand there, first of all, you would have heard someone trying to creep through like
Exactly,
a circle
yeah.
of people.
Yeah.
You know, that's weird.
It is weird. The thing that freaked me out the most was when I looked up the history of the building later and saw that.
Yeah.
Like, it was the specific building that I was in and the specific ghostly figure that I saw.
I think we'll save yours, Dobbins, for last. You probably got the best ones, I'd imagine.
I've only got the one, so
Okay.
you go next if you want, James.
Right. Okay, well, mine's, again, not through me. Mine is through my grandfather's experience. So he used to work as like what they call them? The graveyard sort of workers, like do maintenance and stuff like that in graveyards. Basically, he worked in a cemetery, a local cemetery, right? And he said every sort of night, you just thought he was this bloke walking through the cemetery with a torch and with his dog. And no matter like how close you try to get towards him, like, oh yeah, okay, you're walking around the cemetery at night, everything right? He said no matter how close you try and get to him, he just stays the same amount of distance away. If you go further away from him, the distance doesn't change between you.
Yeah.
And he fell asleep while he was working. So basically dug a grave. So someone was supposed to be put in there in the morning, and he fell asleep. Now, he got woken up by two people frantically going, "Come on, but someone's coming in here now." Like, but they said they only found him because they were following this guy and his dog. So he would have been like, they would have put a coffin on top of him if no one looked in first. You know?
That's mad.
Yeah, so that's my one. I don't know if I believe it. My granddad used to be a bit of a pisshead, like. So,
Well, this is the
It could have
thing.
just been a fucking wild night out. That's all it could have been.
Exactly. Thing is, this bloke's probably running away from him because this pissed bloke's trying to walk towards him in a cemetery. You know, so.
Yeah.
Well, it's not
It
even
could-
like
well, it
about
could be-
being pisshead. Sorry, Dobbins, but it's like you don't have to be a pisshead. The thing is, stories change over time. Like, some
Yeah.
people can't keep their things straight. Like, my brother
We
supposedly.
kind of fabricated, don't we?
Yeah, and we remember things differently, and because like, my brother thinks he saw somebody standing on. I used to have a great auntie who had a country house, but anyway, she saw. No, he thinks he saw somebody standing right at the top of the staircase, looking down. But then his story kind of changed 3 times because then he said, "Oh,
Yeah.
it waved at him," and then he said, "Oh no, he was outside our great auntie's room," and I was like, "I don't know what to believe now because it's kind of changed 3 times."
Yeah.
No,
Well,
it's mad that.
I think he's just lying, but.
Probably. But kids' imagination as well, because we were young, so probably saw
that's
like
true.
a lamp and thought, "Shit, that's a person standing there."
So I've kind of got 2 stories. So the first one I'll say is about when my mum and my dad used to live with each other in where we're from, and they had it was a little house. I wasn't alive at the time. It was just my eldest sister, and it was just them 2 and my eldest sister as a baby. Now they used to do like knocks and bangs and stuff like that during the night. My mother said she remembers waking up one night and seeing like a figure of something near the door, and just kind of wrote it off. You know, it's just kind of like, I just could be seeing something. And then she mentioned it to my dad, and my dad went, yeah, I've seen it, you know. And apparently, so every time I tell this, because my mother told me this story first, and every time I tell it to my dad, he's kind of like, yeah, you know, he doesn't believe it, you know, fully. But my mother went to see a medium a couple of weeks later with some friends. She didn't go for herself. She went with her friends. And this medium started describing my mother's house at the time, like the wallpaper, the carpet. And she said she sees a man who's got a beard, then he hasn't got a beard, then he's got a beard, then he hasn't got a beard. Now, for a long time, my dad used to grow like a beard, then cut it off. Grow a beard, cut it off. So she was describing my dad. And my mother found it very weird. She never like took the message or stood up or anything and said, "Oh, this is my." She just found it very strange. And they moved out of that house not long after that. Not because of that, because there was just, you know, my other sisters come along and all that. But yeah, I thought that was quite a weird thing, you know.
So it falls again into what Luke was on about, where he was like, he didn't want to mention that he saw a tall figure, but then like several of them were like, oh yeah, I saw that too.
And this is, so my first thought was like, you know, she woke up from sleeping and thought she saw something. I'm instantly thinking, your brain does weird things while you're mid-sleep.
Yeah.
That's just what I... But then the fact that your dad also said, oh yeah, I've also seen that, it kind of, you know, gives him more...
What's the
legs?
Like?
Yeah.
Gives him more legs.
Mediums, I don't know. I can't
Like,
get
it's
those.
interesting though, if your mother didn't give any information, didn't go,
She didn't, no,
and they were describing that.
I know, but it's so vague. It's like, there's a man in your house that shaves and then doesn't shave and then shaves. It's like, well, that's most men.
I don't shave.
Yeah. But it was more the fact that she described, I can't remember like the exact colours and the wallpaper and stuff, but and my mother said the medium describes the wallpaper and the colour of the carpet like 100%.
Yeah.
And she didn't give anything. She said she didn't write anything. What's that, sorry?
Was the wallpaper and the carpet popular at the time?
No idea. It's one of those things where this is just I'm relaying a story that I was told. And the next one, it's not really a ghost story. It's my grandmother's old house. It was like an old style cottage. It had like a well in the basement and all that type of crap.
Oh God, this is a good start.
It's already creepy. You know,
grudge.
The house floor was always cold as well because it was tiles. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was always freezing in them. But my grandmother used to say that pictures used to fall off the wall and shit like that. I'd only seen a picture fall off once, and I just kind of brushed off as whatever. You know, it could be anything. I didn't feel like it was a ghostly thing. But she had a friend who I'm not going to name. She used to come over quite regularly, and her and my grandmother would have a couple of drinks, chill, you know, like most people do. She was a bit, you know, loopy, bless her. Lovely woman, bit loopy. But she used to claim that she could feel energies and stuff like that. And the one room she refused to sleep in, like full stop, because she said it just felt bad and there was something in there that she didn't like. And then she just refused. Yeah.
In that room or the whole house?
The whole house, the pictures used to fall off, but that room, it was just a bit. That's the room I used to sleep in when I used to go up. But yeah, and I don't know. I remember talking to her and asking her about it, and she said like sometimes she just walks into a room, and she feels like someone's there when they're not there.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that's just a mental health illness, or it's like genuine, she can just sense something, I don't know, but she just refused to sleep in that room. But she said that sometimes a good thing of getting away, so her thing was to say that walls have history. So when you go into an old house, if it hasn't been changed for years, that those walls keep that history. So if you go in and you like redecorate or you do something else, it like cleanses the room a little bit. Don't know. She was fucking mental. But you know, it's one of those things, and that conversation stuck with me, and I think that was another reason why I kind of got interested in all this crap as well.
Yeah, so something similar to that, something that stuck with me was my aunt used to regularly go over at a friend's house because they were not far from living with each other. And my auntie is very like, doesn't believe in anything, doesn't even believe in the afterlife, nothing like that. And she kept hearing my friend talk about how the calendar on her wall would always swing. Like, not from a breeze, like literally just move crazy. And my auntie was like, didn't believe it, thought it was bullshit. And then she said she went over one night and they were watching something and she could hear like a rustling sound, I guess. And she turned and she literally saw the calendar just swing like this. And she said,
It
like,
had to have been something to make it
she
move.
went up and she was like, she was looking for like a breeze, was it, draft anyway, or whatever. She couldn't find anything. But she said she just can't think of what could possibly move it at such momentum, because even a breeze would just.
Well,
it'd be
if someone's
constant,
just
wouldn't it?
living in
And
that house hiding and they just...
could be, just being a prick and just like, woo.
Yeah, just all he's doing.
But it's like, those are the sort of things I will believe in, because it's like, she doesn't
What was
believe in
that?
that stuff. I whacked my mic, it was probably me.
Oh, okay. no,
Everyone's on edge.
I would like to do one of those like ghost adventure stuff like that they do, like people host. The problem is, because you're paying for an experience, I feel like they fake it because you get your money's worth. I think doing a ghost adventure would be pretty cool, like as a Halloween special or something.
We should also do some abandoned buildings. Might be cool.
Yeah. Just remember not to use the monkey paw. All right.
The monkey paw I'm sound with, but it's the voodoo doll
not
every single time, straight through the heart, every single time.
Oh, I
And
am
the tarot
saying
cards.
Ouija boards are bullshit.
I don't trust Ouija boards anyway.
I've used
Don't-
three,
don't
nothing's
mess with
happened. They are
There is, I don't believe in it at all. However, not saying
Come on.
goodbye after you put the after you use the Ouija board thing, it's not going to work. You have to say goodbye. There's an anxiety there. It's like, what if? What
close the
if?
door.
Now? Exactly. What if now? I've taken the piss here.
They've compared ghosts to stray cats. It will follow you home. Don't feed it. Right?
No, so there is an anxiety. Like, I don't believe in it, but I don't know if it's just like my upbringing or anything. But when I had my own Ouija board, every time I fucked around with it, I thought it was a bit of funny, a few drinks, maybe showing it off to the missus or what have you. And then when you've got to finish it, you get up with the planchette and you're like, okay, goodbye. And you take the planchette off and you put it, and you're like, I have to do that. I don't know. It's like a little anxiety in the back of my head. Like, what if though?
Yeah, no, I'm completely the same. It is an interesting topic because there's so many different elements to it. As in, like, everyone has a different opinion on it.
Yeah.
You either believe it, you don't believe it, or you go, like me, where I want to believe it, but until something's happened to me, I can't believe it.
I'm open to believing it, but it's got to be something concrete. It's got to be like all three of us see something at the same time.
Cement! That's concrete, baby!
But I mean, like, what we could do if any of you do watch and you have had an experience, leave it in the comments. We could have a little segment if enough of you leave, your own experience. We could do like a little readout, have a little read through on the pod, see what we think about the experience you've had and if we think it's cap or not.
So yeah, I thought that was a good segment to talk about. Maybe we'll revisit it again. If you, like James said, if you have any stories, just comment and we'll read out and have a talk about it, see if we believe it.
Specifically about goals.